Hello, everyone. Big up to every single person that is here waiting in the wings. 12th man is back. Arsenal Roundabout is back. It's just me, Kenny, and Jez for now. But Igal's jumping on, Stricto's jumping on. There's going to be no D, actually. He's just messaged me saying Saints come up last minute. So big up to him. Hope he's okay. But Igal and Stricto will be here, but they're obviously running a little bit late. I didn't want to delay it too much longer. So I thought me, Kenny, and Jez would get on and have a chat with you guys. Make sure you're following both of these. We've got Jez Arsenal over on YouTube. Make sure you're following Jez. Make sure you're following Kenny Ken on all socials and Instagram. And make sure you've hit like and subscribe on this one as well. Make sure you're showing some love to both of our sponsors for this evening. You can see on the logo, we've got OK Jerseys. The code is 12man. Make sure you are getting your jerseys in with them. And also, we've got Match Bingo in the live chat as well. So go show them some love also, people. If you use the code POTS, you'll get a discount for Match Bingo as well. I know a lot of you are using that and winning some money on that. So go and enjoy Match Bingo. And I hope you won money tonight. If you watch the Champions League, which is still going underway at the moment as I speak, last few minutes of those games. Arsenal still looking pretty at the top of the tree. We're going to talk on that. Arsenal still looking pretty at the top of the Premier League. We're going to talk on that. We're going to talk about our defensive record right now, which is quite phenomenal. Let's just say it how it is. Is that going to continue? Can we do the unthinkable and try to break records? Do we actually care as long as we win trophies, what we actually break? We're going to discuss that. We're also going to talk about Merino and his position. I think he's one of the most bizarre players in the whole of Arsenal's history. I have no idea where this player is supposed to play, but he delivers when he plays in the 9. He's not for me as a midfielder, I've got to be honest, but we'll discuss that as well. Up top, he does a job. And I think we have to mention Max Dowman at 15 years old, breaking the Champions League record. And a massive game at the weekend against Sunderland before another international break. Liverpool, Manchester City have got each other at the weekend, which means that Arsenal need to go and do the job at the Stadium of Light and then relax on the Sunday and see what happens. Let's get into things, Kenny. Defensively, Arsenal right now are giving me the faith and confidence that we're going to take something from the game. It doesn't mean that we're going to go and blitz teams, but it certainly doesn't mean that we're going to get blitzed. And I think every time we've got a defense that can do what they're doing at the moment, it gives you a chance of taking something from any game, Kenny. So what have you made of how good we have been defensively, not just in that last game, but this season?
I think that since the Newcastle game, that's the last time we conceded. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just bizarre, isn't it? It was Newcastle. They got in behind us. Voltemada got the head there where he got the better of Gabriel Magalhaes, and since then we don't even look like conceding. That's the thing. You think about it, our goalkeeper hasn't had much shots to save. Everything that he has to deal with is virtually long range. But one of the reasons why I'm really pleased with the way we're playing is that I was having a conversation with my brother, and he says that forget about Mourinho's Chelsea of 05-06, which I always compared his team to. He says this side reminds me of I know some of you guys don't remember this, but in 85 and 87, Everton, believe it or not, Everton were the league champions in those 2 years. This team reminds me of the Everton sides in terms of the way we're streetwise, the way we're aggressive in the way we play, attacking wise, defensively as well, that we don't look like we're conceding. And I think that's one thing. But the major credit has to go to our fullbacks. Of course, the defenders are going to get a lot of credit. Gabriel Magalhaes, who is probably the sort of minor star compared to Saliba. Everyone thinks Saliba's got the highest ceiling, but over the last 3 seasons, he's been our best defender. Some people don't want to admit it. Some people are acknowledging it. And some people say he's world class, while Saliba's maybe get there. But Timber, oh my God, what a fight! What a find! The guy just loves defending. He does not like to be overlapped. When you look at Timber in the side, you think, right, that guy is not going to. The opposition full back is not going to get behind him. The inverted winger is not going to get into our box and have a shot, a goal, or create an assist. That's how good he is. And Calafiori deserves special mention as well. Now he's fully fit. It's going to be a battle, barring injury, for MLS to get his place out because Calafiori just looked $1 million. And you know the thing that I like about it, when these guys invert come out of their positions, there's always someone in there to go and fill them in, and invariably it's left wingers. Like special mention as well. It's got to go to Leonardo Trossard. I call him a
Yeah.
dibbly dobbly, but yesterday when the fullbacks were out of position, Hincapié he went into that position quietly and got us into a back four. So our inverted forwards are part of that sort of defensive shape. But what's really making us like difficult to penetrate is that everyone knows their jobs when we don't have the ball. It's a case of the opposition can't play us through the middle and they can't get us in the flanks. And long may it continue, because that is the basis of why we are at the moment. We're top of the Champions League, league stage. We're top of the Premiership, mainly because of our defence. Obviously, Declan Rice doesn't get a bit of credit because Declan Rice, for me, Dan, number 6, yeah, got that one wrong, didn't you? He's a boss.
I think he's proven he can play everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah. I knew I wouldn't get a complete concession, but yeah, we'll play along anyway. But yeah, he's been playing. So Mendy, when he's on it, is giving us like I said, control of the game. So yeah, it's a team thing. But yeah, the fullbacks are the reason why we are where we are. And I always said that, on Twitter, the rare time I've gone in there, someone's asked me a question: why are Arsenal looking so difficult to penetrate? I said, yeah, because we've got proper fullbacks.
I think the fullback situation has been ignored too much, actually, because I think Calafiori is one player who has proven quite a lot of people wrong. I wasn't massively keen on what I saw in the early stage of the last season from Calafiori, and I think Timbers definitely deserves all the plaudits. I think he's been immense, and if I'm honest, he's one of my favourite players right now to watch. But defensively, Jez, Arsenal don't look like conceding anytime soon, and I think Gabriel and Saliba's partnership is outstanding. More importantly than that, I think you look at the fullback situation and defending as a team in midfield right now and as a back four. I just think Arsenal look elite right now at the moment, Jez. What about you?
Look, we've won competitions before with a fantastic four in the back and not necessarily having the best midfield or the best strikers. What I like about it, Dan, and I talked about this the other day, is the fact that we've got such a solid back four right now. It gives Raya even more confidence that he knows if our midfield breaks down or lets a loose ball and a player, we've got this back four. And they are a brick wall. And we've had brick walls before in the distant past. And I think this is a fantastic situation right now, that we can actually not be the most commanding in the game, but other teams have got to work seriously hard to get through our back four. They may get a shot away, but invariably it's not on target. And so that gives us the upper hand. And we've got a good goalkeeper in Raya, in my perspective. So we're right now sitting there quite pretty, very pretty actually, top of the Premier League, top in Europe, looking good, haven't conceded a goal in Europe. That is quite something. And we can only sit here and say, just keep going. And am I happy? Of course I'm happy. And people would say to me, oh, you don't have the right to celebrate. Well, I do. I've watched this club for years, right? I've watched this club for donkey's years. So I do have the right to celebrate. And I do have the right to be happy. You have the right. Kenny has the right. Right? Everybody that's been critical has that right. Because what we're seeing right now, is the club in dominance, which we've asked for the last 6 years. That's what we've asked for. And so we're loving it, aren't we? We're loving it. You guys must love it going home games right now. It must be a fantastic situation. You know, yeah, I don't know what I can add to that, because at the end of the day, Kenny, Dan, chat, we are there. We are the top boys right now. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. And if you want to actually sit here, I'll say, well done, Arteta. Well done. You're not the person I wanted. I've called you out. I've criticised you. But right now, I say well done to you, my friend, because at the end of the day, you are getting things on the line. Am I getting overexcited? No, because we've been here before, right? As I discussed on my show earlier tonight. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm loving the situation, but I'm not going to get carried away right now. Come and ask me in May, when we're in the Champions League final, when we've got the league pretty much tucked away, then I will be over celebrating.
That's fair. I don't think that's crazy. And I think a lot of people will believe that that's fair what you've said. I'm the same. I'm not going to start saying that we've won it already and that the Champions League's ours. We're not going to concede again. We're not going to lose again. We're looking unbelievable. And you see some of the fans that go over the top with that, right? But what I will say is, I think it's good that you've praised Mikel, Jez, because that's something I wanted to do tonight. I've been very impressed with how he set the team up defensively from a kind of standpoint of, as a department, Kenny. Like, I get the back four's great, but Jez is right to mention the goalkeeper. Zubamendi deserves a mention coming into this side. Declan Rice, I think he's playing, although you said, oh, he's not a 6, he's an 8 now. I actually think he's been playing much closer to Zubamendi this season, which has actually been a hell of a lot better. I don't like him in a Lampard role. I like him in more of a Patrick Vieira role where he can do both, right? I don't want him up top bloody trying to, link up with a striker. I want him running the game, which is what he's been doing. I mean, he's been unbelievable in the last few games. Declan Rice, he's been running the show, in my opinion. And I think when you go into games like that, with David Raya, who's got the respect of the back line, you've got Gabriel and Saliba, and you're right to mention Gabriel being the best. I think he's been the best defender Arsenal have had for the last 2 seasons, if I'm honest with you. Timber's been probably player of the season last year, and so far one of my players of the season this year. Calafiori's massively improved. And on top of that, you got Nkapie, who I like the look of, Mosquera, who I like the look of on the bench, Lewis-Skelly still getting minutes in this team, and Benjamin White. Yeah. This is a serious unit department that we've got now, and I think
defensively, it is. But again, this is something that's been in a process. I think if you say trust, obviously, I hate the word process. James hates the word process, but if you talk about defence, that's where you can say there is a process, because you think about the evolution. The evolution kind of started around 21, 22, and it's evolved. Gradually, obviously, Benjamin White, Gabriel Magalhaes, getting Saliba back from loan. Then, obviously, you start off with Benny White at the right back. You start off with Kieran Tierney. You realise that you think Kieran Tierney's not good enough, so you get Zinchenko. Then you get an upgrade of Zinchenko. You try to play Calafiori there. So it is evolutionary how we've improved, defensively. But that has been a work of practice. But if you kind of segue back in, maybe previous podcasts in previous seasons, we were always thinking, why is he always getting the defence? Why is he always buying these defenders? Why is he buying these left backs? We're now seeing, also hindsight's 2020, we're now seeing why he's done that, because he's finally stumbled across through, the process in getting the right formula. Timber, getting him fully fit. Everyone thought Timber was a left back.
No.
The triumph, in the last year or so is that we no longer even consider him a left back. We no longer think, oh yeah, with Benjamin White coming back, let's play Timber on the left so we can accommodate Benjamin White. We're not saying that no more.
No.
As much as some people may be critical of Calafiori, the criticism of Calafiori is now few and far between. You just can't do it. You talk about defence. So it has been like a working process, but you think about Kivior not good enough. So he's got you got Mosquera. He comes in, levels above Kivior. Hincapié, we know he's going to be levels above the player they've got. So, yeah, it's evolutionary. But you've got to have a bit of a chuckle. Can you imagine 10 years ago, the defenders we had 10 years ago compared to what we have now? It's absolutely night. It's night and day. And that's where the manager does get credit, because at the end of the day, we all thought that, well, a lot of people thought that when they were getting Mikel, that they were going to get like, he's going to be Guardiola light. What people don't realise, he isn't Guardiola light. He also played for David Moyes. And then under David Moyes' Everton, it's about work rate. You had to be good for the ball. You know, in training, there was a lot of cross countries, there were a lot of playing without the ball. And he's brought that with him to Arsenal, hence the fact we improved. But when I look at Arsenal, and when I hear people talk about quadruples, all you have to do is look at the fixtures from November, the 23rd, up until like the 31st of March. If we're still in the FA Cup and we still get through in the League Cup and we're still in the Champions League, you can forget about quadruples, because I think our only enemy is going to be fatigue. Because you can have two players for every position, but when you're playing these type of games where there's a lot of intensity, someone's going to have to give. That's why when you look at the Champions League, our cousins in Europe always peak when it comes to like the championship rounds, the knockout stages. PSG didn't put up much in the league stage. When it came to like the knockout stages, they were on fire. So, mate, that's where we've got to look at it. We're looking on fire now. Are we going to be fresh and raring to go, play with the same intensity when we get to the championship rounds? I think that's the only thing that can derail our season. Fatigue.
The thing is, you just nailed it. We talked about this when we did a tribute show to Willie Young earlier tonight.
Yeah.
In that 1980, we played 70 games.
That's right.
And we got to 2 cup finals. FA Cup against West Ham, right? Cup Winners' Cup, and lost them both because of fatigue.
Yeah.
We didn't have, we played so many games, more than any other teams those season, and we just couldn't get it over the line. Good team. We had a great team. We had a good squad.
Yeah, we got.
No, I'm not just saying. I'm just throwing it in there.
No, we got a fantastic squad as well. But the fact is, we're seeing like injuries and second injuries. That's the only thing that that's my worry, especially when it comes to this like defence, which is like I'll tell you one thing: if you're a neutral watching Arsenal, you're better off watching Strictly Come Dancing, because if we go in front, there's going to be no entertainment at all. Trust me. You think about it. This Saturday, you've got what week is it of Strictly? You got Arsenal playing. We get a set piece in the 25th minute. So by that time, it'll be 6 o'clock. You might as well turn off for Strictly, because it's game over. That's how it looks. It's not. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was watching the Spurs Chelsea game, and I was looking forward to a classic because both teams hate each other. A new manager who just came from Brentford, where he had 3 players who scored about nearly 55 goals between them. You got Chelsea. I thought I couldn't wait. You know what? I should have watched Strictly. It was that crap, that game. But that's what we do to teams. We kill the entertainment. I mean, I was at Craven Cottage when we went a goal up against Fulham, and I could see the faces of their players, and I could see some of the fans and their fans in the posh part, and they had the same feeling. Game over, and that's what I love about this team. Is it sustainable? Look, with the amount of games we've got, tiredness, playing against better teams, are we going to go goalless till the end of the season? Hell no, it's not going to happen. But long may it continue.
Would you say though, right? And I'll shut up on after this. Would you say that the Premier League, compared to Division 1 1980, is far more physical, far more demanding, And I think that's the big difference in the fact that we now struggle with injuries because of the physicality, because of the pace.
Yeah, but you know what it is though. Nowadays, in kind of modern football as well, it's like it's not so much the Guardiola effect. It's like the Bielsa effect. You know, Bielsa was like the, you know, like he was a tutor to Guardiola in terms of like the pressing and winning the ball back. You know, all teams now try to win the ball back as quickly as possible. In a second half, you fade. That's when you start to make mistakes. But yeah, the intensity is different. You've got sports scientists now. You know, you've got bigger squads. You know what I mean? Like, basically, if you're a centre forward, I think the art of being a centre forward is dying. You know, if you actually get more chance of being selected if you can stop the opposition from playing out the back than putting the ball in the net. I mean, nowadays, if you're a centre forward nowadays, if you score 15 or 16 goals, you're worth £100 million. Because it's getting a bit like Italy, you know, the Italian league, where back in the 80s, if a striker scored about 15 or 16 goals or 17, they were top class because defensively, off the ball, it was hard to break teams down. And I think it's the same in the Premiership, especially when it comes to us anyway.
Fair point.
It is a fair point. And going back to 1980, West Ham and Valencia losing to those two. Imagine losing to those two this year. You wouldn't be too happy if you're losing to those two teams this year, that's for sure. But look, I'll be real. I look at us right now in the Champions League, and we do look one of the best teams in it, Kenny. Like, let's just have it right. We look one of the best teams in it. We look to me like we've got a chance of beating everybody. I don't really fear any team. That doesn't mean that if we get Real Madrid, we better beat them, otherwise we're crap, because Real Madrid can beat anyone. We'd be silly to go
not that Real Madrid. Not that Real Madrid. That Real Madrid.
Well, no, but you know what I'm saying. It's
but even like on reputation, if you play with a lot of intensity and you press and you run, you outrun this team. Liverpool yesterday outrun them. Yeah. West Bromwich didn't know what day it was, because you think about it, you had Tchouaméni and you had Camavinga, the superstars or Hollywood stars. I didn't see any of them tracking back. Did you see Jude Bellingham track back? Did you see Vinny Jr. track back? Did you see Mbappe track back?
My point is, like, if you draw Real Madrid, you can never go, well, we're through, done.
Of course not.
It's only very disappointing. You know, we beat them last year. You'd like to beat them again. But my question was going to be, who is it that you fear in this competition then? Because Bayern Munich looking pretty good. Obviously, PSG are the holders. Is there anyone you're looking at? Inter Milan at the moment looking good up there with us?
You can't really say anything. You know what? It's too early to sort of, judging by what we saw last season. Liverpool won every game up until maybe the last game, where they were imperious. They won the league at Cantor. They played with a lot of intensity, especially at Anfield. Salah was scoring goals. Diaz was in his pomp. McAllister was playing on. Szoboszlai was imperious. When it came to knockout stages, they looked like they were spent physically, and that's what I do worry about. You look at the teams that will finish on top of the group stages. There's no guarantee that team's going to be playing in the final in Budapest. No guarantee, because the likelihood is that team may have peaked too early. I'm not saying we've peaked too early. One thing I would say about the Bayern Munich game, if you want me to sort of like get the crisp ball out, no Diaz and no Alphonso Davies. Alphonso Davies, one of the best attacking right backs, of an age. They're playing Konrad Laimer there, who's probably one of the best defensive midfielders out there. So that's a win. Diaz, you know what he was like at Liverpool. You know how much Liverpool miss him. He presses, gets in your face, and then he's very direct, especially in front of goal. Thank God he ain't playing. So if you're asking me, 26th, do we got anything to fear? Well, I'm glad that bloody Diaz ain't playing. But they still got Harry Kane, still got Alicia.
I think, Kenny, I think it's about time that we actually looked at it from a different angle. It's not who we fear, it's who fears us.
Yeah, I think so.
Because right now, we are the best of the best in the Champions League. So these teams, Bayern Munich, PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, right? They're going to be sitting there thinking, shit, we don't want to play Arsenal.
Mm.
And that's a great way to be. We haven't been like that for, well, since when? 2005?
Yeah, really Wenger times, isn't it?
So that's the way I look at it, is that right now, I'm not frightened of anyone.
Mm.
Yeah, we know the history we've got with Bayern Munich. We know all that. Yeah, we actually used to get absolutely crucified by them. That was a long time ago right now.
Mm.
But I think it's more we should, be, well, no, this is my comment. I'm not saying to anybody else, my comment, right? They should be respecting and fearing us right now and thinking, shit, we got to play Arsenal, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. Wow, not looking forward to that one, boys. Especially if we got go to the Emirates.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm looking at it.
No, you've got a good point there.
That's a great point.
I think if we're to win this league this season, the Emirates has got to be a fortress, and that vice versa is on kind of the Champions League. But yeah, Bayern Munich. You think about it. The Bayern Munich that played was the Arsenal that they played them 2 years ago. Didn't have Timber in the team. Timber was injured. He had Ben White right back. At left back, I think he was playing left back. We played him in the Champions League. Was it Zinchenko? It was, wasn't it? Or no, it wasn't. It was Kivior, wasn't it? So
Kivior.
Yeah. So you think about you're going to have Calafiori, and then instead of Benjamin White, you have in Timber. Like small, point towards Benjamin White. Bloody hell, that guy's got to be bloody unlucky, isn't he? No matter how fit he is, it's not even debate. He will not get in any of Arsenal's top 11s on the back because of the form of Timber. Last season it was a case of like when Benjamin White's fully fit, we're going to play Timber right back just to come, accommodate Benjamin White. But Benjamin White, unfortunately, and I saw a bit of it in the League Cup when we played against Brighton. You see how many times Brighton got in behind us? You were at the game, Dave, weren't you?
Yep.
No Timber, no Calafiori. You know what I mean? It was a case of like they were basically like walking through our defence. They just couldn't finish their dinner. So it just shows you the evolution of how
the importance of them,
and the evolution of the defence in terms of quality and application.
I think that game, let's be real, I want to touch on a couple of players in a minute, but that game I think will really show where we're at and what we've learned. I know it's different than a couple of years ago because obviously it was a quarter-final, not a group game. I don't even know you call it group game now. League game, I suppose it's called, in the Champions League. But I don't know, Jez. I think this game against Bayern Munich will really show where we're at because they're probably right now one of the best teams in Europe. I think they've got an unbelievable player in Harry Kane. Lise on absolute fire. They've still got top quality all over the pitch, in my opinion, Bayern Munich. And I look at Arsenal, we ain't conceded a goal since the 28th of September against Newcastle, which is just phenomenal, in my opinion. Do you think that this is a side that now has learnt and that can take 3 points at the Emirates against Bayern Munich?
Dan, when we used to play Bayern Munich back in the day, I used to think, oh, here we go again. I'm now sitting here thinking, I don't worry about it. I'm not scared. We can go toe-to-toe with them. Yeah, Harry Kane's a fantastic footballer. He is but he's one footballer. Right now, we have the best defence, in my opinion, in Europe. And I'm not gassing that up, right? I think we can take them on. I think we can beat them. Or at least worst, we'll get a draw. Yeah, they've got some great players, but so have we. We've got a very good squad, which we can rotate at the right times. And right now, and I'm not flip-flopping, don't get me wrong, I'm not flip-flopping, right? Arteta is doing the right job.
Yeah, I agree.
He's making substitutions at the right time. He's taking players off to rest them for the next game at the right time. It's sad that we've lost Gyökeres. That's a big loss right now. But we've got players we can bring in. And if you want to, no, I'm not fearing Bayern Munich. No, I'm not. Because I think we've got a team that's equal to them. We've got a better defence, if you want my honest think. Our midfield, I think, on the day, I think the other day I was disappointed with Ethan. I think he should have stepped up a little bit more and taken his opportunity. He didn't take it, right, to make his name and secure a spot. I was disappointed with that. But at the end of the day, I'm not an Arteta-inner, but I give the man credit and I'll praise people when they get it right. And right now, he's getting it right.
Yep.
But I don't fear Bayern Munich. Sorry, I don't. Not anymore. I think we can do a job against them. And this could get us over the line. Because what I think, Dan, right, before I shut up, is this team's got belief. And if we were to continue in the League Cup and get to a final and win it, that will give this team far more winning ability and belief in themselves. That's the only thing I believe is lacking in this team, is that winning belief. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Right now, we're getting there. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think you're right with that. To say Mikel deserves praise and credit. I think he's always deserved praise to get us to the kind of competing level. I know people say, "Oh, you don't give him any praise." No, I have. I've given him praise for that. The only question mark I've got is, will he be able to get us across the line? That's it. That's the only one. Everything else is there. He's done everything else for me. He's proven he can take us from here to there. He's proven he can put this side together. He's proven he can organise us. He's a good coach. He's got us defensively good. Rah, rah, rah. But I don't want to be second best. I want to be the best. And something feels different this season.
That's his remit. Look, the law of averages says that this record of, we are going to concede goals. We're probably going to drop points. We might lose the odd game. But it's how you react to it. It's how you react to the adversity. You know, there's going to be teams that are going to think, right, you know what? We're not Crystal Palace. We're not like Burnley. We're better than that. We're going to have a go because like Bayern Munich will be one of those sides. Because you think about it, the game against Bayern Munich, in 3 weeks' time, is basically like two sides across the European leagues and the Champions League are the best at two disciplines. They got the best attack. The numbers suggest they have, both in the Champions League and in terms of like the Bundesliga, and we've got the best defence in terms of the Champions League and the Premiership. Now we're going to find out in 3 weeks' time what wins. The best defence, the team that loves defending, that understands, accepts that they got to deal with adversity, understands that they have to play a lot of time without the ball, understand that they've got to make sacrifices and they may have to rely on a set piece of the counter-attack. Against a team that loves attacking, loves dominating teams, is very aggressive attacking-wise, but in order for them to get the turnovers and the pressing, they're one of their best players this season is out.
Mm.
Who's going to suffer most? Is it going to be us, who basically love adversity in terms of like playing out the ball, or is it going to be them without Diaz? I mean, if I was like I said, Vincent Company, I'll be getting Diaz and giving him a chokehold or giving him a sleeper hold. I mean, come on. Obviously he's going to be all right for the Bundesliga, but come on, if they beat us at the Emirates, they're through to the next round. He's going to be one of the reasons. He's one of the players that can get taken all the way to the final. So he needs to be more disciplined. So that's a big, big loss for him against us, especially a team like us who's got the best defence. They got the best attack, but one of their main men ain't going to be there. That's a big loss of Bayern.
Yeah. Massive loss. And let's be real, we've got players that we need discussing as well. One of them is Mikel Merino. I've got to be honest with you. Big up, Matty. Hope you're well, bro. Thanks for coming on, man. Matty, I'll start with you. Mikel Merino, what is he? Is he a striker? Is he an attacking midfielder? Is he a box-to-box midfielder? Is he an 8? Is he a DM? He's the most bizarre player for me, brother. I've seen him now for the best part of 18 months, and I still can't work out what he is. But in my opinion, what I can work out is that he's best fit as the number 9 for Arsenal. I think he, at the back end of last season, proved he can score goals. He's a good finisher, good in the air. And he proved that again last night and against Newcastle. I think he's kind of a bit of a player that can come in and do a job when one of our players up top is out. But when he's in midfield, he kind of goes missing a bit for me, and I don't see him as much. So what are you telling me, mate? Oh, you're on mute, bro.
Yep, sorry about that. Dan, good to see you. Kenny,
Jez.
It makes up for Monday. I hate I wasn't with y'all on Monday as usual, but work's been wild for me as of late, which is a good thing. But
cool.
Glad to be here. Big up the chat. For me, I actually mentioned I was up late last night and I was in the group, one of the groups with me and Kenny, we're on WhatsApp, and I'm dropped in the group last night. Mikel Merino is a misdiagnosed striker. The man, it was funny because I was sitting back. I had to go back to work, so I missed the second half. So I went back and rewatched the second half, and I was looking at his goals, and the goal he scored on the cross. I said, "Well, that's a striker's goal." And then there was this past weekend when he dragged the ball. It was kind of like it was an overlap there. And he dragged the ball, and I told Lee, I said, Lee, that's something Giroud would do. And then I looked at the second goal yesterday, and I said, this brother here, this is a certified striker right here.
Yeah,
certified striker. I know one when I see one. And I said I don't want to see him on deep midfield on defensive duty anymore as long as he's at the football club. He needs to be going forward. This is 2 goals. 3 in 2 games, I want to say. I think it's 3 in 2 games or something like that. 2 goals here. But the numbers for him being back on, coming out of the gate, being back up top. Look at this. This, Jazz, we said this early in the season. If Arteta plays 4-4-2, sit him over there with Gyökeres and watch them sit each other. Let them play off each other and have fun. This is I love the fact that Gyökeres went down, and then he comes in and he's basically picking up. Well, I'll score some goals. Now, can he do this on a daily basis? Remains to be seen. But the instinct of a striker is there. The instinct of an attacking player is there. So for me, I see him more as a striker. I've really never really rated him in midfield. But he showed us last year when we all saw it, and then he comes back this year. He's still doing it.
I agree.
So, I mean, for me, I would just consistently use him as bring him off the bench, bring him. He's a new weapon. He's a new tool. There's an extra tool there, attacking wise, especially when we have players misfiring. So for me, I would use him as a striker, man. I think he's phenomenal. I think and if you have to sit down and like really watch him like really close and just watch his movements, watch his mannerisms, watch this. There's certain things he do. Even that game, you go back to the Spain game, just go back and watch that and just watch his movement. Look how he gets himself into space. And, he moves around like he's an attacking player as opposed to when he's playing defense. It's just his mannerisms going forward is just much more better going forward than it is him having to do defensive work. Because once he gets, having to get caught up in defense, he starts getting clumsy. But going forward, He gets people involved. He can lay it off of him. He finds you. You know, he finds tight passes. You know, windows that you would say, well, wait a minute. Well, how did you do that? You know, I mean, like I said, this past weekend, the clearest example was when he drugged that ball and passed it. I said, yeah, this brother he needs to be going forward from here out, because that's the kind of stuff you need going forward. So
yeah, 100%. I think as well, Jez, I said on my channel earlier, a couple of days ago, if you was to look at Havertz's performance and then look at Gyökeres and then look at Merino, I don't think at the moment in the games that I've seen, there's a huge difference between the three of them. Like, I don't look at Gyökeres and think, wow, you're miles clear of Merino. I don't look at Merino and think you're miles clear of the other two. I think they've all come in and done a job. And that's probably the biggest compliment to Merino, that he's come in to do a job and he's looked as good as the two strikers we spent quite a lot of money on. And I think that it deserves a lot of praise, Merino, to be fair to him in that position. In midfield, as I say, it ain't for me. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he does enough for me to get a foothold of the game. But certainly as a striker, Jez, he deserves some credit, don't he?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last night, I thought he had a great performance. I mean, he was the sort of what I call the poacher.
Mm.
He was in the right place. He took his opportunities. I can't, Dan, in honesty, say Havertz is the same level as him. Personally, yeah. I think Havertz is a worry for me, because Gyökeres being out injured for what? We don't know. Nothing's been, well, I've not seen anything that's been said that he's going to be out 6-8 weeks. That's a concern, because I'm sorry, but I think Gyökeres is far better player than Havertz.
Yeah.
I think we've given Havertz enough credit, enough time in the 2 years he's been here, and he hasn't proved it. So for me, not good enough. And my worry is, Dan, that when he's fit, and I said this last night on Lee's stream with Kenny, my worry is this: when he's fit, Havertz, and when Odegaard's fit, will Arteta go back to and bring them back in? Because I think if he does that, Dan, that will be the downfall of what we've got working right now. Because right now, we've got a nice little team, squad, whatever you want to call it, working very nicely. We can make the right changes at the right time. We can bring on Dowman. We can bring on Skelly, right? We disappointed with Ethan last night, I won't lie. But we've got that. My worry is this: Havertz is not the man for me. Sorry. Gave him the opportunity, gave him the chance. I was the one that said there's a player in there somewhere. No, there's not. Not good enough. Havertz, no. Odegaard, no. Every time we play Odegaard, everything slows down. Not the levels we need right now. We've got a very good midfield. I think, in my opinion, I think we've got a very solid midfield that could improve. But no, sorry. Not for me, my friend. We're doing very well nicely at the moment. And no, it's not going to work, mate, for me. Sorry.
Let me ask you then, Kenny, because we've got some injuries at the moment. Odegaard is one, as Jez has mentioned. Havertz is definitely another. I think they're close to return. Madueke is another player who's apparently close to return in November. And we've got Gyökeres and Jesus that are also out. And they're looking to be, I don't know what Jesus is, around December, they reckon. And then obviously Gyökeres, they think, could be 4 to 6 weeks. What do you think happens when these players return? Who's getting back into this 11 out of those players that are injured right now?
Well, first, I think Jez has got a fantastic point that Odegaard will 100%, when he's fully fit, good to go, he'll get his place back, because we have to be honest, we have to go on performances. not preferences.
Mm.
I don't think Eze's done enough to say, right, that's my shirt. And of course,
No.
Ethan, the scant opportunities Ethan's had. Obviously, he had an opportunity last week against Brighton. He scored, but in terms of like dictating the way we play and getting the ball forward quickly to our attackers, our inverted forwards, Ethan didn't do that. So it's one of those things where Odegaard will definitely get a game. Havertz is an interesting one because despite the fact we bought Gyökeres, this team lends itself to, in terms of the way we play, it lends itself just as much, or probably just a little bit more, to a false number 9. Especially now we're solid defensively, and in terms of like the genuine work rate and effectiveness in terms of getting players into play. Like obviously, Gyökeres does it a different way. He's a bulldozer. Takes people around me, bulldozes people out of the way, it makes space. In a kind of an Emil Heskey kind of way. Whilst Havertz, he's physical, but here's his movement, making the runs, the right runs. That's where Havertz, ability-wise, in terms of being a striker, there's night and day between him and Gyökeres. Gyökeres is an expert. He's the expert. It's his living. But in terms of what Havertz gives us, yeah, it's a bit different. Do I think he'll get his place back? I think there'll be games where Gyökeres will start on the bench and Havertz will start. I'm convinced of that. Whether it's a long-term thing depends on Gyökeres. Depends on how the team gels with Gyökeres in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Odegaard 100% gets his place back. Madueke, nope. Bukayo Saka, although he's been how to say it, if you run the bath and you test the water, well, it's not exactly going to be piping hot with Bukayo Saka this season. It's kind of lukish warm. But if you look at the GA or these stats, it will look like, oh, he's had a good season because he's done this, he scored goals. But that's the same. But he's not that. He's done enough to keep his place. Who else is there that you kind of mentioned? Martinelli, he's injured. Will he come back? Well, Martinelli this season has proved that he's a good impact player to come off the bench. But in terms of starting, Trossard hasn't done anything wrong. In fact, his work rate is a lot better since he's come back in the side. And in terms of creating chances and scoring the odd guy here and there, I think he's back to what is his best. Obviously, he's a dibbly-dobbly, but this dibbly-dobbly has proven me wrong.
Kenny, what about Jesus?
Jesus has got no future in his team on the basis that he's going to continue to break down. He will have a few games when he looks probably fully fit, but because of the nature of his injury, especially around the knees, he'll break down again. That's just a sad factor of life. We can only look at the situation. It happened he got injured in 22-23, 23-24, went out of an injury, came back in 24-25, got another serious injury. It's going to happen again. The law of biology and the nature of common sense will say that it's a big risk and he'll break down. Especially in our league. Come on, the way we play with the intensity of the ball and he's able to do his work rate, he's going to need a slower pace league in order for him to, play a full season, because it's not going to be in this team under this manager, because he'll break down again.
I'd move him in January, personally.
Yeah, I would as well. I would.
The situation with Jesus is a mad one, because obviously he's on a hell of a lot of money. He's apparently come out in interviews saying he doesn't want to break his contract and till 2027. Well, of course he don't, because he's on 265 a week. That's why he doesn't want to. Like, let's be real, I wouldn't want to either. He's not going to get paid that anywhere else.
Well, Dan, I mean, this is what you got Berta here for. You think Berta cares about him being on 265? And he's gonna have to rip it up. And he's gonna have to say, hey, we're gonna have to take what we can get for him, because what Kenny just said, if he comes back, there's probably about an 8 out of 10 chance he's probably gonna hit the ground as soon as he gets back. So if that happens, that now the value goes down even further. So at some point, you got to try to, decide on whether you want to get something for him or not. So
I don't know, man. I feel like big up, Miguel. How you doing, bro? You good?
I'm good, man.
Egal, I just want to let you know, brother, I was rooting for the Blue Jays. I was rooting for y'all, man. I'm a Braves fan, so I don't too much care for the Dodgers, man. So
Gal, you look exhausted, mate. You look exhausted.
Hey, Blue Jays to do that to you, man.
Bro, try waking up at 3 a.m. and potty training a 2-year-old. It's a madness.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't envy you. We're not got long anyway because I've got commitments tonight. So we've got literally about another 15, 20. So it's quite good for you to jump on it, Gal. Let me come straight to you, bro. We're talking about the kind of strength in depth. We've spoken about our defensive record. We've spoken about Mikel Merino deserving praise, playing in the striker position the other night, who we thought was great. And I want to touch on what we think our best 11 is, because we're saying that we've actually got players out and no one's really spoken about it enough because we haven't really have been affected by it. Martinelli injured at the moment. Jesus was mentioned still being injured. Havertz injured. Gyökeres now injured. Madueke is still injured. All of the attack at the moment is pretty much out, but we've still got Saka, Trossard, Eza, and of course Merino playing up there at the moment. Ethan Nwaneri was mentioned. Max Dowman we haven't even got to yet. This is a serious squad, Igal. But when everyone's fit, what's your 11? When everyone is fit, you can pick anyone you want. What's our 1 to 11? I'm not sure that we know at the moment, but go for it.
I don't think we've touched the surface with what this team is capable of yet, simply because of the injuries and the fact that there's been so many players out. I was speaking to D earlier today, and he was talking about we need to sign players in January. We need to sign players in January. I know this might piss people off, but it's the truth. Having Odegaard back, Havertz back, and Madueke back from when they come back from injury is almost going to be like a new signing. And we're going to have to get them acclimatized to playing in a team and getting them used to playing with this team. Because for the last 10 games, when we've been winning all these games, these guys haven't been part of it. So I don't know. I don't think anyone can wholeheartedly say this is our best 11 yet. What I can tell you is the best 11 that played so far is the back four and the back line with Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. That's been our best back line so far this season. Yep. Midfield, our best midfield has been Zubimendi, Rice, and Eze. And the best front three has been Saka, Gyökeres, and Trossard.
And do you think that when all the players come back right now, the only position that really gets definitely replaced is Ødegaard for Eza because he's the captain? I think he keeps Trossard on the left. I think he likes it there. Gyökeres, I think, stays. Saka stays. I think Ødegaard gets into that kind of 10. And then you've got Rice, Zubimendi, and then the back five. I don't actually think that even with everyone fit, I still don't think Madueke gets in. I don't think Havertz starts. I might be wrong. Jez says he thinks he'll probably bring him in, and Kenny said that before. Maybe he does. Maybe he starts ahead of Gyökeres. Not for me, but maybe he does. But do we think that that's the only position, guys, that really is up for grabs right now? Is literally Ødegaard and Eza?
I think there's multiple positions up for grabs. It's really about putting pressure on players to perform.
Yeah.
And I think all of us here have asked for squad depth and asked for players to push each other. And really and truly, I even wouldn't be surprised if Madueke tried to push Saka. Like every single person in this team is going to have somebody pushing them. I don't think any of us thought Ben White would be a bit part player in an Arsenal team. He was one of our most important players. Trossard, I thought Martinelli would have kept that starting spot over Trossard. But hey, you never know. That's my point. And my final thing on this, I don't think anyone can really say wholeheartedly this is where we're going to have a weakness or this is where we're going to have to improve, because all these attacking positions, we haven't seen our best attackers yet.
No, I think you're right. We haven't seen some of the players yet, and I think that's fair to say. But look, before I come to some super chats, Liverpool and Manchester City, guys, have started to win again. Liverpool have obviously beaten Real Madrid and they've beaten Villa and they've reverted back to the Liverpool of old under Slot. And Manchester City are flying. Let's just say it how it is. Haaland's flying. Foden tonight was balling out, scored 2 excellent goals. Ryan Cherky's back, and I think he's a good player. I think he's going to take them forward. They've actually got a hell of a lot better defensively than I thought they were going to be. So I don't know. I'll come to you first, Kenny. Are you scared about Manchester City? Do they fear you? Are you fear them at the moment? Do you think that Manchester City are going to be a team we should be like worrying about?
Well, you know what the thing is, right? It's just old-fashioned mathematics, isn't it? If we win at the weekend, no matter what happens, the worst case scenario will be 7 points ahead of Liverpool and Man City, or we could be 6 points ahead of one of them, because it's one of those games where a draw is just is no good to either team, so they're going to have to both go out a win. Realistically, Liverpool and Man City want to win the league, they have to beat us. Liverpool have to come to the Emirates to win in order to get themselves in a situation where it becomes a title race traditionally. And the same Man City when we go there, in the Easter period. Because at the moment, I don't see where the snookers come from, but you can never say never. But the fact is that they've got because of their defeats, especially the one against Aston Villa for Man City, Liverpool's 4 defeats in a row. They're in a situation where there's no margin of error. Now, I'm not saying an FA Cup in Arsenal could afford to drop a point here and there. I'm in the business of ruthlessness. If the foot's on the throat and your opponent can't breathe, tough shit. Make him beg for mercy and tap out. And even if he taps out, don't let him off, because you never know. You don't want him to get that second wind. So, yes, they can keep on winning, but if we keep on winning, it becomes relevant. That's what we need to do. That's the pressure that we have to face. Standards have to be the highest, but if we continue to make our standards, the pressure's on them that when they play us, they have to win. No getting a point. A point at the Emirates on the 8th of January isn't a good point for Liverpool. It's a disaster.
No. Yeah.
A point at the Etihad in the Easter period is not a good point for Man City. It's a disaster. They have to win. That's where they have to be. But to get themselves in that position where they have to win, they can't afford to even draw. That's the pressure we've put them under.
Facts. Jez, what's your predictions this weekend? Obviously, we've got Sunderland, Stadium of Light, Saturday night. Going to be a difficult game. But Liverpool got City, as Kenny said, and that is a massive, massive weekend for Arsenal if we win.
Yeah, Stadium of Light. I've been there quite a few times, and the old Roker Park. It's a different ground to go to. It's awkward. It's noisy. But I'll just quote this. At this point in the season, 1988, George Graham stated, "We fear no one." And quite rightly, top of the league at that point. And we went on, as we all know, the great night, May 1989. So I'm sitting here right now saying, I fear no one. I don't fear anyone. Because at the end of the day, we're top of the league, 6 points clear. Yeah. Man City, all right, they're coming back into form. Liverpool won the other night. Fair play. Well done. Right? But at the end of the day, you got to beat us. And this is Arsenal Football Club. Right? I'm not flip-flopping before anybody says, Jez, you're a flip-flop. No, I'm not. I will praise where I believe praise is due. And right now, we have a very good team and a team that is performing very well. And we have a defence that is very hard to get past. Very hard. So I'm saying, I don't fear anyone. I don't fear Man United. I don't fear Man City. I don't fear Liverpool. I don't fear Chelsea. And I certainly don't fear Tottenham. Kenny, you know what that means. You know what that means.
Yeah.
Right now.
We're going to win it. Well, is it? We're going to win it then.
No, the fact is, mate. No, I'm not Kevin. I'm not gullible, man. I've been here fucking 57 years, man. Get out of it. You know, I am saying this team has the capability, right, to actually win it and do it. So I'm not fear. I don't fear anyone. Fact.
Fairs.
You know, I respect that. And if I said that, I feel like a lot of people in the chat will call me deluded. But coming from you, hopefully now more people have confidence, Ches.
I hope so. And you're right. You're right, Gal, to be fair. People would come at you for that. But, you know, I think me, Jez and Kenny and Matty, to be fair, have been pretty positive. How can you be negative at the moment? We're not conceding goals. We're top of the Champions League. We're top of the Premier League. The only team in the Champions League not to concede a goal
Can
now.
I jump in there, Dan? Sorry to interrupt you.
Go on, bro.
I think it's only fair, right, that we have the right to be critical, having watched and served this club for a long time. We have the right to say when it's crap and when it's good.
Yeah.
I've spent thousands of pounds on this club, so I have the right to make my statement. And if I say right now I'm happy and I think the club's going in the right direction and we could possibly win the league, or we could win the Champions League, which I've never seen in my lifetime, and none of us have, right? I think Kenny, Dan, Eagle, Matty, myself have the right to be positive.
Facts.
And that is not turning against my belief of what I said before, because we've been through some abject rubbish in the last 6 years. Now, if this manager does manage to get it over the line, I will say, well done, fantastic. Well done to you. You proved me wrong. I have that right to say that, because at the end of the day, those people that think I don't have that right, then you're an idiot. And I shut up.
Well said, Jez. Egal, what would you like to say, bro?
I got into an argument with D over this earlier today, and I just wanted to ask you guys what you guys think. I don't think Arsenal is going to spend money in January, and I don't think we necessarily need to go and massively strengthen our team in January. I think what we've got, especially with the players coming back from injury and the squad size that we currently have, maybe we sell Jesus, but that's outside of that. I don't see too much happening. You guys agree with that, or do you think going out and spending whatever it takes to go get a Semenyo to improve this team makes sense at this moment in time? Because I mean,
for me, is when we get to January, let's see what the team is. If there's a possibility to strengthen there, and it looks like we need a little, insurance, whatever, I'm all for it. But for me, I think we spent so much money in the summer. I think that we're gonna probably move a few bodies to get what we need. I think for the first time in a while, you look at the squad and you go, we've got quite a few choices for positions to put players in. It's just a matter of maintaining health. That's the main thing. I think Kenny alluded to this earlier. It's about the fatigue factor. Can the guys stay healthy? Who can go to, how can the manager, rotate these players? Because that's one of the things that I'm looking at right now. It's just, players rotating, coming in. So when we get to January, I mean, if it's a situation where, okay, like when we ended up getting Eze, player go, Havertz went down, break glass, we need to go, strengthen the team, then I'm all for it. But for right now, just the way things look, I just don't think that we're going to spend any major money on bringing anybody in. I think that if anything, we're going to probably move one or two players that need to be moved on.
What's your thoughts, Kenny?
Well, I think I can see the situation, because if you think about it, is that, basically we got a tyranny of fixtures up until, you think about it, from the Spurs game, it's going to be a lot of intensity. I can understand where D's coming from in terms of there could be injuries, the amount of games where you probably need that bit more quality of players, lose form and everything. I do understand it. And if a player's available, maybe D's looked at the situation and thought, oh no, Rodrigo's still on the bench at Real Madrid, he'd be available in January. Maybe that's where D's going. But I always say, the squad's good enough, the numbers are there for us to cope. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't advocate buying anyone in January on that basis, because at the end of the day, we're not going to lose players to the African Cup of Nations, are we? So
No,
that in that respect, we're not going to lose players.
great point. A lot of teams are as well, by the way. A lot of teams are going to.
Liverpool with Salah, of course. They're going to lose Salah. But in terms of Arsenal, we do realistically, with the exception of probably a position, we've got 2 players for every position. You know, even at goal, obviously, I get where you guys are coming from when it comes to Kepa. I get it. Reyes is so good. Kepa has had that build up, and he hasn't been able to make the number 1 shot his own, but he has played big games. You know, that's a good number 2. We know what we got at right back and left back. We know what we got at defence. Obviously, we don't want to lose any of those defenders. We don't want to lose any of our midfielders, but we realistically have got 2 players for every position. And these players are quality players who have played this season. So they are going to. There's not a massive gap in quality between our first team and our understudies.
Yeah, the drop off nowhere near what it has been before. Like, you know, when before we were bringing on Fabi Vieira or Nelson or Lakonga, Eddie Nketiah. We ain't doing that now, man. We ain't doing that now. We're bringing on players that we're like, whoa, this is a decent. Like, even when the commentators are saying it, I know we shouldn't always listen to media because they talk waffle, but actually the commentators themselves are like, wow, Ezra's coming on. Wow, Madueke is coming on. Wow, you know, soon it'll be Havertz is coming off in the bed. I think we've got to look at that seriously and just say that we haven't got any excuses. And I will say to your question, Igal, this is the 1st January. I think I'm going to be saying, I'm not going to be crying out for signings in January. This is the 1st January ever I can remember where I'm not going to be screaming. Now, listen, if Semenyo becomes available, I say take it. Some people don't like him. I personally do. I think he'd be a good signing for Arsenal on the left wing. I'm not really screaming out for any other players. All I'll say is the only position we can't, or the only player we can't afford to lose is Declan Rice, because nobody does what he does in the team. There's other players that do what the other players do. Maybe not to that level, but certainly they do replace. I've got to be honest, nobody does what Declan Rice does, man. It's ridiculous how good he is, man. But, let me just do these supers and then we'll come to a last question before we close. And I have got to get out of here because I've got commitments in literally in 8 minutes. Netweed says, same old top gunners celebrating before Christmas again. I do love Netweed. You know, he says it how it is. He's very, very consistent, is Netweed. General Jez, the fans, Mr. Arsenal, big up to you, bro. Big up to Netweed. We've got Rumble says, evening, chaps. I'm happy where we are now, but I'll always remember the crap we've had to put up with Arteta. He's extremely lucky to still be in the job. Look, that might be fair, but right now, Rumble, I'll say this. I think he deserves all the praise that he gets personally. Thank you so much for becoming a member as well, bruv. Really appreciate that. And Netweed's back saying that Arteta always crumbles. His fanboys always blame Josh. Well, look, right now, I don't want to think about us crumbling. I want to think about us continuing, because what is happening right now is looking very, very good. Let me come round very, very quickly as we close. What's the situation going to be like at the weekend? I'll start with you, Igal. We've got Sunderland, Liverpool, Manchester City. I asked Jez this. He believes it's going to be a tough game. I agree. I think it's going to be a tough game. Sunderland have been excellent, by the way. That deserves a mention. They've been very, very good. We've got to win there, got to do the job there, and you've got Liverpool and City as the kind of Super Sunday, which hopefully we beat Sunderland and we can sit and relax and enjoy it. But how do you see this one coming, bro?
I think this Sunderland game is just going to be just as hard as the Chelsea and Tottenham games coming up. We're gonna have to go there. We're gonna have to be able to weather whatever storm they give us, and defend and offensively, I feel like they're going to be a little bit better than people think. The last couple of weeks, we've been able to not face too many shots on target. I wouldn't be surprised if we did face a shot on target in this game, but I'll be upset if we did. And I do think we're going to win. I like Sunderland, what they've been doing with Granit Xhaka, but we just should be able to beat them regardless of that. And the rest of the guys, personally, I don't care what happens in the game, but a draw would be the most favorable thing to both of us, because if we look at Liverpool and City this season, they both have the capability to turn it on at any point. But if they both get a draw, That's 2 points drop for both teams. If either lose, that's 3 points. But I'd rather have both of them take a 2-point loss and fall behind, and Arsenal have an 8-point lead coming the end of the weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to us potentially having an 8-point lead, but we first have to win our game first. And yeah.
Okay, interesting. Matty, how do you see this weekend panning out?
Man City over Liverpool 3-1. And I think that I will win as well. I think we'll probably win 2-1, 2-0. Me personally, I'm looking forward to Calafiore and Shaka going at it. That's what I want to see. I want to see that theater. But no, I think Sunderland will be a tough fixture. It's just amazing to watch that they've come all the way up and then compete. We're talking like actually seriously competing here. And I think that'll be a fun match to watch. They're not going to be an easy team to put away, but I think that we'll get a set piece in there somewhere, and then we'll probably get a goal from somebody, and we'll shut up shop and we'll be moving on. So I think we'll be fine this weekend.
Okay,
it's the end of the month that I'm kind of just looking at right now, just waiting to see how we manage the.
Of course, man. I gotta get to this international break, and then we can look at the end of the month. But yeah, for me, this Sunderland game is massive. What's your score predictions for these two games, Jez? What are you saying?
I think Liverpool will win. City will win. I'm going to go 1-0 Liverpool, 2-0 City. I think we're missing a point here at Sunderland. They haven't lost at home yet. They're
didn't know that.
Sorry?
I said, didn't know that. Didn't realize that.
They're a tough team at home, man. Tough team. So I'm going to go on that one. I'd like to go ultra positive. I really would. But I'm sorry. I'm going to go. I think it's going to be a 0-0.
You think Sunderland Arsenal will be 0-0 or Liverpool City? You think Sunderland Arsenal 0-0?
Win 2-0, Liverpool 1-0. Look.
But they're playing each other this weekend.
No, they're playing each other, Jez. Liverpool City.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
It's
I got a week ahead. I'm sorry, beg your pardon.
No, you're all right.
I think City will win that 2-1. Right? But the Sunderland game, bear in mind they haven't lost at home. I think it's going to be a tough ask. We haven't got Gyökeres. Merino can step in there, and he's playing good. He's playing good. Let's get it right. But they've got a pretty damn decent midfield and defence. We've got an excellent defence. I can't see Sunderland getting through our defence, to be honest. So I'm sad to say, I'm sorry, 0-0.
Okay. Kenny, what are you saying, bro?
Well, the Liverpool game against Man City at the Etihad, it's a different. If you asked me 2 weeks ago, it's a Man City win. But now Slot is playing that midfield where they're not letting teams run through them. They're being aggressive defensively. That when Liverpool played the way they played against Real Madrid at the Etihad last season, they beat them comfortably. Obviously, Rodri wasn't playing, but Rodri's probably going to come back for that game. But if Liverpool play like they do and win that midfield battle, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off a shock. And it'd be a shock because of their form, because Haaland keeps on scoring goals. But that Man City midfield does not convince me still. It doesn't convince me, even with Rodri. There's a lack of athleticism in that midfield. And if Liverpool play Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch, and they outrun them and control the tempo of the game, they can nick something there. They can actually go there and win. In terms of us, as biased as this sounds, I didn't see anything in the first half at the Stadium of Light to cause me any sort of fear. In fact, Sunderland was sloppy. If they play like that, if they're sloppy like they were in that first half against us, then I'll say to the rest of the public, the British public, we score from a set piece early on. My advice to non-Arsenal fans, switch over to watch Strictly. Seriously,
I love that.
there's
I
some,
love that. Man.
there's some beautiful girls. You know, some of the professional female dancers. Go and watch them because you find it more entertaining. Because we'll close the game out. So I expect. And in terms of the second half, when obviously Sunderland, you know, they got the equaliser, but when I look at their strikers, I remember look at the Crystal Palace game and I thought, right, Crystal Palace have got this ability to get in behind, you know, the opposition defence. They're very potent. If any team can make Sunderland look ordinary, it'd be us. And I expect us to make Sunderland's strikers to look ordinary and a bit out of their depth. So I'm going for a 2-0 win.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I love this, Dan. We got everyone being super positive. You don't necessarily need me to do that today only.
No, we don't. We've turned, mate. We're with you, bro. We're with you right now, and that's what we want to be. Let's be real. But look, man, I'm gonna go 2-1 City, and I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal. I think we might concede against Sunderland. I think they're a good side. I think they're good away from home, but I still think we'll win. And I think City will have too much for Liverpool. I just think Haaland's an absolute machine at the moment. So that's why I'll go there. And we'll be top of the league and be clear of Liverpool by quite some distance. So that's what I'm going to go with. Hopefully it's a draw, though. We're clear of both, but we'll see. Listen, I've got to go. Got to get out of here. There is one final super chat for you, Igal, which is from Cliff saying, Igal, I'm sorry about the Blue Jays, mate. Heartbreaking. So there we go.
Game 7 of the World Series.
So there we go.
Game 7 of the World Series, watching my team lose at 5 a.m. in the morning. And then I go on Twitter and Sophie's laughing at me.
Never good, man. Never good. Listen, I've got to get out of his shop, but big up to everyone that's here. We're going to send you over to DJ, who's DJ B currently live at the moment. So go show him some love. Big up to Kenny Ken for coming on, Jez for coming on, Matty for coming on, and of course, Igal for jumping on in his busy lifestyle as a father. We really appreciate that. Make sure you're showing some love to the sponsors. We've got Match Bingo using the code POTS in the live chat and description. And of course, we've got OK jerseys as well. Make sure you're using the code 12man to get your % off. And we'll see you next time. We're out of here, people. Laters.
Thank you.
All right.